Yep.
All right, Carlos Collins here at StateRecruiting.com. I'm here with Doug Beaumont, a Mel legend. Had a great career at U of L. Also had a couple, successful years in the NFL with Atlanta Falcons. You play arena too?
Yes.
So he played, some years in arena football. So we just go back, backtrack a little bit. It's a couple years. He's still a young guy. Tell me a little bit about yourself in the 8th grade. How was you in 8th grade as an athlete, player, student?
I was pretty good. It was one of those things where I knew at that point that I was going to be going to Mel. I knew that going into it, they were still good. Michael Bush was a senior, so it was a great year for them. They went to championship loss. But for me, it was one where I knew I had to work hard if I wanted to go in and start as a varsity member. I remember talking to Redmond. He said, hey, you're going to have a chance to play as a freshman. So I knew I had to work as hard as I could to get to that point. So it was working on my off days. There was weekends where I wanted to go out, but my mom told me, hey, if you want to be successful, you got to, continue to practice and continue to grow. So that's what I did. And then going into my freshman year, I remember my first practice doing 7-on-7. A guy dropped a few balls. It was a junior. Coach Redmond told me to go in. I caught all the balls that was brought to me. And next thing you know, I was a starter as a varsity member as a freshman.
You started as a freshman? That's
Yes.
big, man. High school back in them days, man. So if you have I'm gonna ask you a question. So if you're an 8th grader or, a rising freshman going to high school, what advice would you give them, with the transition? As far as on the field, off the field, academics, all the pieces like that.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, you just have to be able to balance it. I think, one of the things is I was a 3-sport athlete, so I was playing football, basketball, and ran track. So for me, it was, I had to be able to balance, knowing that, hey, once practice is over, I'm going straight home doing my homework. I know I got to get that done. I know any classwork I had to perform well there. And then it carried over onto the field. I think one of the big things I look at is student athlete. That's the first thing that I want to possess and tell kids, that you have to be good in the classroom and on the field as when you go out there and work. And for me, when I transitioned, I knew that I had to be, for me to continue to grow, I couldn't just be complacent. I think, a lot of times kids, they might say, hey, I dressed varsity my freshman year, or hey, I got to go in on special teams as my freshman year. So what are you going to do to, start the next year? And that's not being complacent, not relaxing, knowing that you are just, another part of the team. Hey, I want to be the best player on the team. And that's what I think I took. I felt like I wanted to be the best player on the team. So I worked hard on the field, off the field, and then it carried over into my sophomore year.
Oh, okay. Well, he said it no better than he probably said. So for those who transition from high school or rising, 9th grade, 8th grade, make sure you stay on top of your grades and understand the transition. It's a hard process. This is Carlos Collins, State Recruited, here with Doug Beaumont. I'll talk to you guys later.